Rebel conversation. Rebel conversation. Rebel conversation. Rebel conversation. The truth is, I just like to talk.
Hey, nice. Welcome, guys. So, you guys know what time it is. It's Rebel Conversations. I am your host, Antres Finney. So glad to be here as usual. Make sure you guys are sharing my page, liking, subscribing, commenting, engaging. We are a living, breathing community for women of color. We want to help them think, live, grow outside the box of what's normal. So, Rebel Conversations, I have an amazing guest, an amazing partner, an amazing sister. The things that we are preparing for you guys to partake in is going to be amazing. But first, I want to give her the honor and the pleasure of introducing herself.
Well, thank
Mm-hmm.
you, Candace. Happy to
Mm-hmm.
be here this
Nice.
evening.
Nice. She's so humble. I'm Candace. Guys, this is Candace Victoria Mitchell. She is a entrepreneur, innovator, co-founder and CEO of Mayavana Hair Care. To
Mhm.
me, it's women of color's best kept secret of hair. I mean, if you're not into that, you got to find out what's going on with your hair, guys. Like,
Mhm.
we try to figure this out for ourselves, and clearly we can't. So we need that partnership. She is
Right.
also an author of a brand new book, which is what we're going to be talking about today.
Mhm.
This book has been so amazing for me in my journey and where I am in my process of self discovery and
Mhm.
awareness, creativity, even the
Right.
creativity side. So it is a self help type of book, but you can
Mhm.
also invest in your creative. It
Right.
helps you kind of really build on that or build the foundation. From this book, guys, I got to tell you, so many ideas, so much just came to my
Mhm.
mind. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh my God, like where has this book been? So I'm so thankful that you've created this book. November of 2017, you got the
Mhm.
vision, right?
Yes.
Wrote the book in 30 days.
Mhm.
December, we dropped the book, right?
Right.
And I got to tell you, September, let's see, well, actually, spring. So, spring of this year will be coming around March 20th. And we got something special for you guys. So,
Mhm.
keep posted. Make sure you're following Candace on her page. Where can we find you?
So on social media, I'm at the CVM Life. So CVM, like my initials, Candace Victoria Mitchell, and that's on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Same name,
Nice,
Candace Victoria
nice,
Mitchell.
nice, nice. And just a little bit, I just want to kind of toot your horn a little bit more there. Candace has been featured in Essence Magazine, Ebony Magazine, the Atlanta Journal Constitution.
Mhm.
She is Forbes 30 under 30 as well. She's a
Mhm.
proud member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority
Yes. Ooh.
and a
Mhm.
Georgia Tech alumni. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Nice, nice, nice. So listen, let's just dive in. The shift. This is
Mhm.
why you're here. This is why we're on the same like journey together. Like I feel like we
Right.
kind of like the universe brought us together and it's about to
Right.
blow up.
Right.
So the shift, guys, this is the book. And you can purchase this book on your Instagram page,
Yes. Or
website. What's your
yes, my
website?
website is CandaceVictoria.com.
CandaceVictoria.com. So, The Shift, a spiritual guide for transforming your life and manifesting your dreams. So,
Mhm.
the first question I'm going to ask before we dive in is what made you write this book?
So I was very compelled to really just share my journey in entrepreneurship. I started my company over 5 years ago. And as you mentioned, we've been blessed to be featured nationally, internationally, grew my business at a very fast pace. And I literally took a vision in my head and manifested it in real life.
Nice.
So, what is that process like?
Mhm.
And how can I show other people that we are all going through the same things,
Right.
because oftentimes on the journey to success, you talk about, networking, building your team,
Mhm.
and, all these external things, but we never talk about the internal
Right.
personal growth. And so that's what the shift is about. It's how to make a shift in every area of your life so that the things that you're dreaming about, striving for, you can actually bring that to life.
Nice. Nice. So, the title, The
Mm-hmm.
Shift. You could have named this book a million things. The process, how to get there, the how, the why,
Right,
the when.
right.
What is so special? What is so impactful about the word shift?
It's very impactful because it's about a paradigm shift,
Mm,
a mindset shift. Because usually when you're trying to get from point A to point B, there's something that you need to change, or something that if you just move from this perspective to that perspective,
hmm
it'll open up so much, because the secret is that everything that you desire has already been placed inside of you.
Nice.
You just have to bring it out. So it's not that you have to do this to become that. You have to awaken more to what's already inside of you. And that's what the shift is all about.
So it's about making those adjustments, making those
Mm-hmm.
pivots. I always
Right.
say that there are many sides to the lake to see the lake.
Yes.
So you can be on one side and see a different perspective. If you go east of the lake, you'll see a different perspective. So
Right.
you really do have to look at the journey and the process that way. What are all the different ways I can do this? What's already in
Exactly.
me?
Exactly.
I gotta say this, Candace. This is a navigational tool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like
I know I've shared what I felt about this book millions of times with you, but I'm gonna talk to the audience for just a sec. If you are someone who is on social media
that. Mm-hmm.
and you're in the audience, you're a bystander, you're someone who's kind of like following everybody and you're being inspired and you're just like, oh my God, where do I start? Where do I begin? How do I do this?
Mm-hmm.
Before you take your first step, and this is just my opinion, you need to get this book. And I
Mm-hmm.
know there's a lot of resources and tools and webinars, other books, ebooks, speeches, YouTube clips. There's
Mm-hmm.
a mountain
It's a
of
lot out
knowledge,
there.
right?
Right.
But I feel like what your book does so well, there are 7 shifts, and I won't tell everything, okay, because you got to get the book. But there are 7 shifts in this book that a person needs to consider, be
Mm-hmm.
aware of, adjust, pray over, meditate over, take another
Mm-hmm.
look at. And
Right.
here's the thing, not just one time. You can keep looking at these 7 shifts over and over and over
Exactly.
again. Talk to us about what made you, because you can shift spiritually, that's
Right.
one of them, mentally, but how did you get to the 7 shifts? What was that? How did you determine that?
So I actually began a process of journaling.
Ah,
And as I was, because I had a specific financial goal that I wanted to reach for my company. And I felt like I was pushing towards it, and not quite, I was always missing the mark.
mhm,
So I'm a very introspective person. And so I'm journaling about, this experience, what my goals are. And what I realized was that there were all these different areas of my life that was impacting me professionally,
right.
because in this book I reflect a lot on my role as an entrepreneur, but I didn't realize how I felt emotionally was impacting that, mentally it was impacting that, spiritually it was impacting that.
Hmm.
And so as I was kind of reflecting, I realized that, wow, someone can really, I think the best way to understand what all of these shifts are is if you can kind of identify the different areas of your life that are impacted. And it just happened to be 7. And I
Yeah,
know 7,
yeah.
I was like, oh, that's perfect. That's a sign of
That's
completion,
right.
and so that just what came to me and what was meant to be
Yeah,
expressed.
yeah.
Yeah.
And guys, I'll say this too. So I said earlier, no matter where you are in the journey, if even if you're just starting out, even if you're a seasoned entrepreneur, influencer, creative, director, writer, author, producer,
Mhm.
work for corporate America, no matter where you are in
Mhm.
life, as a veteran, new beginner, this book is essential.
Mhm.
It's a navigational tool to
Right.
really focus and pay attention. So
Right.
my top 3 shifts would be the personal shift, the mental shift, and the emotional shift. I have
Mhm.
4, but I'm gonna focus on the 3. Spiritual was my thing.
Mhm.
But let's talk about it.
Mhm.
Let's really go there. So the personal shift. The personal shift, I believe, is shift 1.
Yes.
Correct? Yep. So in the personal shift, you kind of, I'm just gonna lay the question out there. Do you know who you really are? That's the first question on that
Mhm.
part of the book, the introduction of the shifts. Why did you feel it was important to have that question asked first?
Well, because I realized I was comparing myself to who I thought I was supposed to be, and I was measuring myself against other people's expectations.
That is so easy to do. I mean,
Right,
gosh.
right. So it's like, okay, no wonder, I can't get to where I feel like I need to go because I'm trying to be this person and be
Mhm.
this person based off of other people's expectations and what I feel like I should be. And so I had to really understand, like, okay, who am I really? Because I believe that everyone's purpose is deeply connected to what you're called to do. So if you feel like you're called to, produce a play, or if you feel like you're called to start this organization, like there's something unique to your DNA, the way you've been created, that makes you the perfect person to bring that to life. So the closer you can be connected to knowing who you really are, the easier to be for that to just flow right out of you. But if you're busy trying to be this person or this image of what you have in mind, that's where all the friction and resistance
Right. Or
comes
where you
in.
think you're going to get the most reaction, the most bang for your buck,
Right,
the most
exactly.
likes, the most follows.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, that's a trap. But here's the thing.
Mhm.
I am a prime advocate for trial and error.
Mhm.
You're not going to be able to prevent or hold off a lot of experiences on this journey. But with this book, it'll introduce you to possible roadblocks,
Right.
possible intrepidation, possible
Mhm.
apprehension, and what that might be. So the
Exactly.
personal shift to me is also an introduction to some areas people are not even thinking about. Don't you agree?
Right, exactly. It's going to help you at least become aware.
Mm-hmm. We going up. We going up on a Tuesday. You hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
so soundbite. Soundbite. We got to make that a soundbite.
mhm.
If you find yourself in a constant state,
Right. So if you find yourself in a constant state of lack or feeling like your needs are not met, it is a huge sign that you're not present in your own life and not present to the fact that all your needs have already been met.
wow. How do you stay connected to yourself, Candace? Journaling, I know, is your thing, but what else do you do?
It's well, first it's prayer.
Yes.
Absolutely, because I always acknowledge the Lord as the source of everything that I need and the source of, who I've been created to be. So the more I stay connected with God, the more that I know how I should operate, who I should call, what I should do next. Like
Mm-hmm.
you'll get to a place where it's just a flow,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and you are divinely directed at every point of every day.
So prayer, journaling, and then what else? Or those are your top two?
Those are my top
Mhm,
two.
mhm.
I'm an introvert.
Okay.
So again, you have to know yourself,
Yeah.
know how
Yeah.
you recharge. And so, I spend a lot of time. I recharge by spending like having a lot of quiet time. Like what I mean by that, like I might be listening to music that I like, or listening to a podcast, or just something where I know that I can constantly recharge.
Nice.
That's very important. And you have to know, like, what is that? Like, what is your self-care? Like, what do you do that helps you kind of refuel?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you make sure that you schedule that
Mm-hmm.
routinely
Mm-hmm.
on the regular? Because it's also easy to become empty too. And that's another state that most women find themselves in, is just being empty as well.
We're in a place of major consumerism
Yeah.
and consumption and also taking. A
Mhm.
lot of takers.
Right.
Where are the givers? You know what
Exactly.
I
So if
mean?
you find yourself drained a lot,
Mm-hmm.
you're probably
It's
in a
another sign.
dynamic where people are, taking a lot from
Mm-hmm.
you without replenishing
Mm-hmm.
you, and there's
Mm-hmm.
not that true
Mm-hmm.
reciprocity in your relationships.
Wow.
And so, I talk about that in
In
the
relational
relational
shift.
shift.
Assess your
'Cause-
circle, boo.
exactly, because your circle, because that's
Mm-hmm.
everyone. That's,
Mm-hmm.
your team, your
Mm-hmm.
colleagues, your
Mm-hmm.
significant other, your family,
Your
and friends.
landlord.
Your landlord?
You
Who
know,
else? Who
who do you have a
all do?
relationship
Who's
with?
yeah, exactly.
Wow. So I got to get into this quote, Rumi, on
Mhm.
Mental Shift. It says, "Why do you stay in prison when the door is so wide open?" So we're going to shift to the mental shift,
Yeah.
no pun intended.
Mhm.
And what are some of the things that keeps a person stuck in their mind?
Such a great question. So I put that quote in there from a dream that I had, and I'm gonna tell you what the dream was. So in this dream, I was very frantic. I was like rushing as if I was late for something. I walk up to this counter and I'm asking them, can they give me the key to get into this door because I have to get there, I have to be there. And the lady pointed to the door, it was already open. And she said, "It's open, just walk through it." And so that dream like woke me up because it it literally was an awakening.
Whew,
And so
I
what
felt that.
what what that meant was why people are find themselves stuck is
Hmm.
that you feel like someone else has the answer to the question that you have, or someone else you're looking to someone else to open the door that's already been opened for you, or you feel that you have to seek someone for permission,
Hmm.
like feeling like you need permission to
Hmm.
go out and do what you want
Hmm.
to do.
Hmm.
And it comes from sometimes not trusting yourself, or it could just be from the patterns of the dynamics of relationships that you've had in your life growing up too.
Familial or
Yeah, it can
romantic.
be
Yeah.
anything. So you have to again examine your relationships and how it's had an effect on your mentality. Yeah.
That dream you had where you were frantic and running to get somewhere and you were asking for a key and the person was like, well, the door is open.
Mhm.
Another thing I feel that I grabbed from reading the book that stood out to me, my mental hiccups were loss of control
Mhm.
and fear.
Mhm.
So anytime I was in a situation that I couldn't control, I would freeze.
Mm.
I didn't know how to trust those that were around me or trust myself. And then I don't think that people get fear is a thing. I know we say fear doesn't exist, but fear is an actual thing that could be um, excuses.
Mhm.
I don't have enough money. I don't have enough resources. Um, I'm not pretty enough. I'm not popular enough. That's all fear. I
Mhm.
even sense that when I'm on social media and I'm kind of just doing my thing, researching, looking, liking, commenting, engaging, right?
Mhm.
I'll see these comments, and I want to get your opinion on this. Things like, don't show your moves, don't say your moves, keep your moves low to the ground, be secretive.
Mhm.
That's a part of the mental shift, in
Mhm.
my opinion,
Mhm.
because, and you tell me, part of this journey is being
Right.
as open and as vulnerable as you can get. How does a person get to vulnerability when they're mentally shifting?
Right. Well, I think it's first identifying how have you been hurt and how is that preventing you from being open?
Mm.
Because when people are guarded in that way, it's because, something happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore they are not trustworthy enough to be open, to share their ideas, because look, someone has to help you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like no man is an island and no one makes it on their own. So you have to be comfortable opening up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will first say, again, the book is deep. So
Yes.
I'm telling you, like, it's okay to face the ways that you've been hurt,
Yeah.
or to understand why am I like this? Why am I not comfortable reaching out to help for help?
Mm-hmm.
Is it pride?
And
Is
why
it
is it there?
shame? Is it, betrayal? Like, what is it? So that you can just take
Deal with
time
it.
to heal from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because, to get to where I have and the time frame that I have, is because I've had a lot of mentors. I've had a lot of people who have helped me, who have opened doors, make introductions, they've invested in me, and things like that. And if I wasn't willing to talk about my idea, to ask for help, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Mm-hmm.
But I also realized in the beginning, I wasn't as open. So I had to figure out why.
What is that?
Where did that come from?
Mm-hmm.
And actually a lot of it came from just not having enough confidence in myself. So I had to focus on self-confidence and what made me not be confident in myself. And that took me back to when I was younger, things that happened to me that really, whether it was teasing or whether it was, I grew up being very overweight. So I was very self conscious, and all of that has an effect on you over time. And
Yeah.
so until you deal with it, you'll realize that, okay, I have the same habits that started when I was a child.
Wow.
And you have to unpack those things. And again, all of this is the key to the success that you're striving for today. It's just that we don't necessarily talk about that it's this deep rooted.
Right. And we don't talk about the steps. If you notice, guys, Candace is doing a lot of tracing the steps or connecting the dots. And that's why I kind of coined this as a navigational tool, no matter what journey you're on, whether it's to lose weight, start a business, get married, have kids, buy a home.
Right.
Any aspect of your life, you can use the shift to assist you with that. But if you notice, she's connecting a lot of the dots and she's unpacking and she's going back to, well, what is this? There's a discovery mode you have to be in because it's a total adventure.
Yeah.
And I think that most people need to understand when you're going on any type of change or transition in your life, it is going to pull up a lot of your stuff.
Yes.
Right? And what could some of the stuff be? What could some of the baggage be, you think?
It could be from old relationships. It could be from the dynamic with your parents. It could be from growing up, in a financially unstable household. It could be a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it's all connected. And so you have to get to a place of freedom to really be in that manifestation mode. But it's a constant journey. I was telling my friend, I started reading my book again for my own
and
self.
keep reading it. Literally, I've picked this book. I've given this book to my mom. My mom is 58. Yes, 58. So this just goes anywhere, any aspect of life. And I think you just have to be willing.
Yeah.
Right? So you can buy this book. You can come to our event that we're having. Major key alert. Look out for details on that. But the shift, Candace, it has been a complete pleasure. Guys, I love this because it's like a cliffhanger. It's like, well, damn. It's like, I want to know more. Well, you got to follow her on Instagram at the CVM Life.
Yes.
You got to go to her website. What's the website again?
It's CandaceVictoria.com.
CandaceVictoria.com, and get the book. Get 5 copies. Get 20 copies. And definitely follow us, the Robot Rebel. We have some amazing stuff coming up, guys. The shift. If you felt moved watching this program, get ready for the shift coming to you this spring 2018. Candace,
so excited.
Pleasure having you. Thanks for dropping all these gems.
Absolutely.
Girl, we lit. We lit. So anywho, guys, subscribe, like, share. Thanks for having me in your homes, cars, phone, bed. You know how y'all roll. This is Rebel Conversations. I'm Antres, your host. Come back and check us out. That was really good. That was better than the first interview.
I think
actually.
so too.
Because there was a clip